everybody, and welcome to Cozy Cards and Crystals. My name is Joanna, and today I'm doing another VR, this time called Most Overlooked Decks, created by Simon over at the Hermit's Cave. And I really love this VR, and so I have to thank you, Simon, for doing this, because I really think what we need a little bit more of on TerraTube is giving the decks some spotlight that aren't on the hype train, as I call it. Decks that aren't the newest, decks that aren't from popular, super popular, and well loved creators. And don't get me wrong, those creators and those decks are on the hype train and are shown so often and get that attention for reasons because they're really good, thought out, production quality wise, really good, really deep and unique or pretty or beautiful decks made by creators that know what they're talking about, know what they're doing, and so they deserve that attention. And I'm really happy for them that they have been successful or that they are successful with their hard project and all of their work and time and blood, sweat, and tears that they put into their creations. But what this tag really does, it allows us to give spotlight to the decks that are under the radar, that we haven't seen a lot of or not at all here on TerraTube because there's so many decks out there that that isn't even possible. And so I think I'm going to do two parts out of this, one for Oracle decks and one for Tarot decks. So first of all, these are the Souci cards. So these are actually two decks in one, Souci cards 1 and Souci cards 2. I combined them together to create this huge deck right here. And these are by a German indie creator. And that is probably the reason why they aren't here in TerraTube a lot, because most of you guys are based in the United States, Canada, or the UK. And the good thing, and that is the reason why I've chosen to include these ones in here, is that that creator ships internationally, and these cards are available in German and in English. So they're actually also usable if you don't speak German. And what I really like about this deck is if you get both decks, so 1 and 2, you end up with a really huge Oracle deck that really covers a lot of different situations, energies, keywords, um, and stuff from life just because of the amount of cards. What I also really love is that it's really balanced. So it doesn't shy away from the more difficult stuff in life. Um, and there are, I would say it's 50-50. So really like 50% of the cards that are neutral or positive, and 50% of the cards that are more challenging or really acknowledging a hard time. And as you can see, they all have a title and then some keywords down on the bottom, which I also really like, because with those keywords, you will see when you're reading with them that one or two of the keywords will really pop out for each of the readings. And those are the keywords that matter to that specific reading, to that specific situation. And so you really can get different messages from the same cards in different readings. And it's really easy to interpret them because you have that variety of keywords down there, so you don't have to think too hard about how that would apply to that situation or what that card could mean. And this is one of the few Oracle decks that I will use on its own, and I don't have the feeling that I need to pair it with the tarot because it is so balanced and so wide ranged in topics and situations. Um, that I feel like I get a really good, to the point, accurate, and balanced reading out of this Oracle deck. And so I don't need to have another deck with it. But it also, as I said, really pairs nicely with a lot of decks. It is really adaptable in a way. Next up, the one deck that I will probably show in every VR that I do is the Naked Truth Oracle deck. And if you guys have any problem with nudity, just skip to the next deck, because every single person in here is nude. But it's done in a really artistic way and not in a super sexualized or triggering way. And so it doesn't really, sometimes I don't even recognize that are nude. It's just the way they are. It's also really balanced deck. It has light and shadow keywords in there, but it confronts you also with the uncomfortable truth if it needs to, but it also accompanies you through those hard times and really helps you work through that and accept who you are with all your flaws, or your so-called or labeled flaws, which maybe even aren't flaws at all. So I really, really love this one. And of course, I will have a link to all of these decks, especially the indie ones, in the video description down below, so you can easily find them and check them out on your own. So I really love this one. I love how it reads. I love its voice, and I love its balanced nature. The next one is the Inner Compass Oracle. This is also an indie deck. You can get it on Etsy. And first of all, I love the size. It's more like a Lenormand playing card size. I have edged this, by the way. It's not coming edged. And this is a collage deck. And it's more of like the handmade old style collage. It's also pretty balanced. Not maybe as balanced as the last two that I've shown you, but there are at least some shadowy or more challenging keywords on here. I really love to pair this with some collage decks, which I know are really well loved right now in the tarot tube communities. The collage tarot decks, there are a lot of collage tarot decks out there that get a lot of attention, and I really think, and well deserved. And I really think this one pairs up really nicely with those collage decks. Or if you're a fan of that collage style and you struggle with finding an oracle deck, then this one might be the one for you to pair up with your collage tarots. It is a really good, straightforward, easy reader. I love it paired up with the Enchanted Tarot or the Amy Cerna Monty Faber Tarot. I really love I really love the messages that I got from it. It's also pretty easy to shuffle and handle because of its size. So, a really cool little oracle deck that I haven't heard of a lot on TarotTube at all. And I love the artwork and the art style. Next oracle deck is the Fauna Inspiration cards. There's also a plant one out there and a fantastical being one out there. And this one is, first of all, I love the artwork. It's like watercolor. I really love the colors. I love the style. I love also the choices of animals that she decided to put in this deck, um, which is a pretty personal and subjective point of view, what animals are important to you and what you like and don't like. But for me, this one works. And then you have the messages on the back. So you have what it is, a keyword, a little message, and also the elemental association that you can work with. And those messages are really good if you're not in the mood of figuring out or really put a lot of thought work into what the reading could mean or what the card could mean. You can just read it and that's it. So for your lazy readers out there, and these messages are empowering, but they're also acknowledging if you are struggling, um, or if something is hard to do. They will acknowledge that, and you will see some sprinkles of those difficult aspects of a thing, or of a keyword, or of an energy into the message, sprinkled into the message. So they're really cool written. I also love that you have the elemental suits or energies worked into that you can work with. And I love the cardstock. It's really like art paper. It really has that papery texture. There you can see it. It shuffles really nicely. They aren't sticking together in any way, shape, or form. And they are not even though they don't have a coverage or are laminated or anything like that. I love the feeling. And I don't feel like, or I'm not at one point afraid that I might damage them or that they can't handle shuffling. So I really like this one as well. And the last oracle deck that I want to mention is actually a mass market oracle deck. This is called the Aboriginal Dreamtime Oracle. And I haven't seen this one around here at all, which is kind of a shame because I really like this one. And what the true treasure of this deck, or where its strength lies, at least in my opinion, is in the guidebook. And so this is also one of the few oracles that I use on their own and that I don't pair with a tarot deck. Because in my collection, the way I work, I always pair a tarot, oracle, and a Lenormand together in a reading, or at least two out of those three systems together. I love pairings. That is the thing that I have always done, even before I was on TarotTube. It didn't really came to my head that you only use one in a reading, so I automatically did that. But this one is an exception to the rule because I pull a card and I will read the guidebook entry because you get for each of the cards, you get a whole story written out. And it's really like a story that you can read, like you would read a storybook. And then you can think about what lessons are hiding in that story or how you can transfer that story and what that character in that story has experienced onto your life and your situation. And I really love that the way that it makes me think. You don't have to do that. You can use this straight up as an oracle because the keywords that are on the cards are pretty easy to understand. But that added story gives you a whole other, gives it a whole other level of reading and aspect to it. And this is actually what I really love about this deck and what makes it unique in in my collection at the moment. And so those were the most overlooked decks Oracle Edition. I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know down in the comments what are your most overlooked decks. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of the new videos that are coming up on my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.